Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about how the narcissist wants you to hate yourself. So let's jump in. A lot of times when you meet the narcissist, everything that happened to them and how their takedown went is how they want to apply the same type of abuse to you. If you notice, they will love bomb you and pamper you because it's probably how the dark energy got a hold of them. It probably was real nice in the very beginning. And after it seduced them, then it treated them like crap, like it was their property. So now when the narcissist comes to you, they treat you like you're their property. They don't love the narcissist, the negative energy, the dark energy, but they think of it as an object to get their needs met. And that's what the narcissist does to you. They think of you as an object so they can get their needs met. And then you have to be loyal to them, but they don't have to be loyal to you. You have to hold up your end of the bargain, but they don't have to hold up their end of the bargain. Well, what also goes with that is they get the narcissist to hate themselves. And because the narcissist hates themselves, when they come to you, they try to get you to hate yourself by telling you how bad you are. Once they are infatuated with you and they think you're perfect, but then at some point, all those perfect traits that they thought were amazing are the same traits that they're devaluing and devising evil against, trying to cut off and trying to get you to stop doing. All the gifts and all of the talents that you have is what they try to shut down, so that you can convince yourself, or they can convince you and you'd go along with it, that you are a crappy individual, that you can't remember things as they gaslight you, that you remember them wrong, that you're doing things in some sort of crooked fashion or the wrong way, or looking at the way life is the wrong way, or things are not as though they seem, and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, smearing up your name and your character assassination. All of this stuff, so that in the end, they can become you and you become them, which is somebody who hates themselves. That's part of them devising you to become them. To become them, it's almost like if you can resonate with that energy, then it's easier to flip and to fill you and to transfer. And when you start thinking the way they think, God forbid, but to some degree you do start to do that because of all the heavy devaluation and the destruction in your life and all the confusion, all the gaslighting, you start to believe at least some of it for a time. And when you start to believe that, it's easier for them to switch identities with you because they start to mimic you and they're getting you to almost hate yourself like they do. And that energy switch will be easier to transfer. And then when you do switch energy, it'll be easier for you, and it'll be more devastating for you if you walk in what they told you are, and now you're wearing the energy that tells you are, that goes along with it. You see how it's like double destruction. So it becomes like a deep ditch to get out of, because you have to build your hope and your faith, and you have to get away from detach from the trauma bond. And that's hard. And there's a rumination that comes along with it that lasts 6 to 12 months. So it's hard. Really, what you are is, and a lot of times whenever you like the narcissist and you're chasing a narcissist and you're infatuated with them, after they get infatuated with you, you kind of become the same way. It's kind of like what you don't realize is you're really in love with your energy. You're chasing your energy because they're wearing it later, right? And it's your energy and the way they're mirroring yourself back to you, especially if they're using your energy to do it and your personality to do it, your traits. You feel like you got to have it. And it's like, if you knew who you were, that's really your identity that's been stolen, outside of all of the dirty tricks and manipulations and evil that's inside them. Their outer shell is putting off your identity. And if you would just give yourself a chance, a lot of times you don't love yourself. And when people talk about that, and I'm at fault of this too, that we don't love ourselves enough, and we don't truly see ourselves as other people see us, or as, when we're looking at the narcissist, is really a reflection sometimes of our own identity that they stole from us, the good parts of them. And if some of us at least knew who you really are, or how well you really do present yourself and look out there, it's better than you think and imagine, and you've been taught to devalue yourself. That's something that happens in a narcissistic family, because if you get inferiority complexes built up in you, and you're always accepting energy that's not yours, and you can't tell the difference, if you're always propping people up and helping them to look good and all that, it's always gonna take away from you, your shine. And not that it matters to some degree, but when it's to a level of things that are done on purpose as a manipulation and with evil intent, then that's not right. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not balanced. So I just wanted to say that, there's a chance that you're devaluing yourself and beating yourself up way too much. And sometimes it's good if you can go out there and tell yourself and look at the good parts of what you can do today. Sometimes, I think a lot of times, and me included, go out there and tell ourselves, how, you could be better. And you'll devalue yourself, and you'll continue to walk in the sunken place because you could be better. But we could all be better. But what we could be looking at is, how can we put our energy into better use? Like, how can we promote what we do have? Because a lot of times when you operate from a spirit of a higher vibration, and it's going to be more giving, but it's also going to have an effect that's going to give to you. It's going to fulfill you. And a lot of times those fulfillments are a lot of times what leads to other fulfillments. And those other fulfillments are the things that you feel like you can't accomplish because you failed at it so many times. But if you would have just rethought things and kind of interpreted things with, like, what can I do today for good that will also fill me, that'll make me feel good and help others, or how can I promote, how can I walk in what I do have that is working for me now, because if we always look at the negative, then that's not always the best resolution. A lot of times we like to think of ourselves as, we need to be perfect before we do something. Like, for instance, I was talking to somebody the other day. It's like, a lot of times we feel like we need to be perfect before we do some type of ministry for the church or for Christ. But if you keep thinking along those lines, you may never get to whatever that perfection is, or whatever those thoughts that you have in your mind that you feel like you need to accomplish or become before you can even step foot in that ministry. But a lot of times, if you start to act on those good-hearted drives, those passions that you have, then what will come next is you'll get hope and faith, and you'll get drive to become better because you're walking in it. And it will be more convincing because you're representing it more, and you're dealing with the individuals that are in that ministry more. So then it causes you to want to achieve those goals with more passion. But if you would have sat back and, instead of turning the wheels on that, waited till you could become this all perfect individual before you start this ministry or start doing this passion that you have, then it may never come, y'all. It probably will never come. So sometimes you got to step out there. That's what I'm getting at. You got to step out there and leap out in some sort of faith on that passion that you have to get your ministry started, to start putting action into a passion that you have. And this is stuff that will get you off narcissistic thoughts and rumination, is when you stop looking at the idiosyncrasies that you have, and some of these things are smaller than you may think they are. But you get out there and you start moving around and working in it, and you get new drive and you get more passion, you get more hope and faith, and it drives you further along. You see people that are challenged start to recover because maybe you've been able to make a difference. And even though you're not perfect, they're not either, but you're doing what you can and it had an effect. And so it propels you into the next step. And sometimes if you don't get wheels in motion for a passion that you have, you will never get propelled into that next step, which will lead you to maybe more sanctification or bettering yourself in some areas that maybe were bothering you. But that's all. Thank you for listening. And if you can give me a like, subscription, and thumbs up. Love you all till next time. Peace. Be out.